Okay, hello everyone, welcome. Can we turn on the presentation? Yes, thank you. So first of all, I would like to thank you to organizers, Watershed and British Council to invite us here and give this opportunity to explain you a bit more about our project Urbanimals. So we are LAX, Laboratory for Architecture Experiments. So I am the second person of this think tank. The other person is Sebastian, who is also here, and he will join the conversation during the discussion after that. So our think tank operates in Poland, in Wrocław, which is also a very creative city, and the next year will be the European Capital of Culture, so really come and see a lot of great events. But basically what we are doing, because our profession is architects, we are architects and urbanists, but what we are more, we are researchers. And we try to, through our projects, research the possibility of new media and new technologies, how we can use new technologies to implement in architecture, in urban scale, just to make our environment much more human and much more friendly to us. So that's why we decided to participate in the Playable City competition, because in our mind, this idea of bringing the play and change the city for human, it's something great. So we wanted to, through our project, to give the opinion and give the possibility to the inhabitants of each city to interact with the environment in a bit different way. So how we started our project. So first of all, we ask ourselves how we can use new technologies which are available nowadays in 21st century, which are around us every day, from the early morning till when you wake up, you wake up with your phones. So we ask this question, how use these new technologies and what the city means for us nowadays. And what we see for the city, that first of all, the city is full of the people who have different habits. They behave in a different way. They try to find their own places, their own personality, and they also try to experience the city as much as possible, to perform different activities. But what is the most common for us, how we imagine the city? That city connect the people. They give this possibility that we can connect with each other, with a different points between the city. So because we, in some way, are connected through the city, we have to imagine that the city is full of the places of the transition. And many times the places of the transition, which should be public, and they are public, they are not enough public, in the meaning of that the spaces should be friendly or much more in the human scale. So in our project, we wanted to focus on this kind of places, the places of transition. And what we observe, especially in the urban scale, is the process of the habituation. And the habituation is probably each of us experience this process, that when we pass through the city, we pass through our environment, and we don't focus anymore on the architecture scale, on any elements which surround us. We just pass through it to go to our point, from one point to the other. And this process of habituation could be observed in the nature. So it's something which join all of us, animals and humans. And through our projects, we wanted to break this process, to come back that people, that citizens will stop in the places of transition and will try to explore these places, to understand what they are surrounded by, and what type of architecture, what type of basically physical structure surrounded them, and what it can give to them. So, yeah, okay. So in our project, Urbanimals try to answer to this question, to this idea. And Urbanimals are the sets of 4 animals: the kangaroo, the dolphin, the rabbit, and beetle. And they are projected on the wall and floors in the places of transitions, and try to stimulate participants, passers-by, to stop and play with the architecture, play with the different elements which are surrounded, which just surround us in the city. And for our projects, we also was thinking how to introduce the language of interaction. Because like through urban animals and participants, we wanted to engage them, to interact, but we also had to implement the language, how the urban animals will behave. So each urban animals has a different personality. The personality with which you can compare yourself. And for example, dolphin is very friendly animal. So you can see yourself as a very open person, the person who wants to interact with the citizens, with the city, who want to play with the built environment. And through this kind of personal behavior of the dolphin, we try to encourage people to play with the architectural elements on the wall. The kangaroo is a bit opposite, because the personality of the kangaroo just focuses on being the best person in the city. So you can imagine yourself, if you want to be the best, you want to show off every time. So you can play with the kangaroo and discover the architectural element which are stairs, the stairs which surround us in the city, and commonly we use it just for function, but we can imagine that stairs might mean something more. But through the new technologies, we can combine the architectural possibilities with some new experience which we can gain in the city. The rabbit is the most shyest animal in our set, but don't worry, you can still interact with this animal, but you just have to explore and discover your behavior and discover the elements of the floor, because we wanted for the rabbit to show you that the floor, it's not only the horizontal surface on which you walk by, but this horizontal surface are built of the different patterns, of the different elements, which are there for some function, but might be used also for something more than only this functional purpose. And the last, but of course not the least, urban animals, is the beetle. And the beetle is the person, probably you can also find yourself like this animal, who just is very focused on their own work. It doesn't care about the city. It doesn't care about anything. It has its own work, just pushing the ball. So if you want to interact here and to find the language of interaction with the architecture, you have to just focus on the elements of architecture which are surrounds beetle, and push the ball. So then you can see how the beetle will change in this environment. So on urban animals, we worked during this summer for exactly 2 months with Watershed, and we managed to make this project thanks to the many people from Watershed, like creative technologists, producers, and programmers. So basically, this work happened thanks to a lot of people with whom we managed to cooperate in Bristol. And nowadays, the urban animals are still running out in the Bristol in 8 locations, and hopefully in the future we'll go to other cities, maybe to Tokyo. And what we can already observe, that the people, in some reason, they just stop in these places. They started to look around. Of course, we cannot tell you what exactly they stopped, but what we can see that we at least manage to break a bit the effect of habituation, to encourage the pedestrians to be maybe more creative, more active than in a normal in the normal way. So hopefully, after this project, we will still look on these places of transition like the places which are something more than the places for transit. So thank you very much for my presentation, and hopefully you will ask me and to Sebastian a lot of maybe tough questions. Thank you. Okay.